Now, Scots Greys! Now!
Scotland Forever by Lady Elizabeth Butler captures the historic charge of the Scots Greys at the Battle of Waterloo on the 18th of June, 1815. This iconic painting has immortalised the Scots Greys cavalry and their famous charge, and it has also been the inspiration for scenes such as in the 1970 film Waterloo. This painting depicts the overwhelming force of this charge against the French infantry, highlighting a moment both of glory, heroism, and then the perilous exposure that the Scottish dragoons faced. Hello, and welcome to Battle Paintings. My name is Jack, and today we're going to be looking at the painting Scotland Forever by Lady Elizabeth Butler.
Those men on grey horses are terrifying.
This is probably my most favourite painting throughout history of any military action. The emotion and the heroism and the terror that Lady Butler has depicted really stuck with me as a child. When I first saw a copy of this painting, it was behind the bar in the officers' mess when my father used to take me. I would just sit and stare at it while my father would chat away with a friend. As a military brat, I grew up watching old war films with shows like Sharp and films such as A Bridge Too Far. But it was when I first watched Waterloo as a kid. It really made Sharp look rather silly with all 10 extras running round in line formation, depicting the Battle of Waterloo when all of a sudden there's tens of thousands of Soviet troops acting as extras, forming infantry formations, cavalry charges. So when I would wander around the officers' mess, looking at all the paintings across the walls of Spitfires over Dover, Wessex helicopters, dropping off troops in Aden, gazelles over Cyprus, I would always go back and look at Scotland Forever and just look at the emotion, look at the horses, the smoke, the clouds, the mud being kicked up. And it would really send my 7, 8, 9-year-old imagination off. Without digressing too much, let's get into the video. Now, what I want to cover with this video or future videos going on is a history of the event, a history of what was depicted. So I'll cover bits with the unit, the war, the battle, the events leading up to what the painting depicts, and a little bit about the author as well. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy. The year is 1815. Napoleon has escaped exile in Elba and has reclaimed the title of the Emperor of France. Following this, he has mobilized his army, over 200,000 men across France. To counter this, the Congress of Vienna, with the great powers of Europe, Austria, Prussia, Russia, and Great Britain, have now formed the Seventh Coalition to stop Napoleon. It's the 15th of June. Napoleon's armies cross the Belgian border. He catches both Wellington and Blucher by surprise. In Brussels, Wellington is attending the Duchess of Richmond's ball when a mud-splattered courier delivers the news. Realising he's been outmanoeuvred, Wellington famously mutters the words, "Napoleon has humbugged me. By God." It's the 16th of June, 1815. The French forces have split. The Battle of Ligny. Napoleon personally attacks Blucher's Prussians. It's a brutal, bloody French victory, with over 24,000 men that have been killed or wounded. The Prussian forces have retreated. Meanwhile, Marshal Ney has attacked Wellington at the Battle of Quatre Bras, a vital crossroads. It's a brutal stalemate, and Wellington barely manages to hold the line. While the main focus of this video is about Scotland Forever, I also wish to include this iconic work by Lady Butler, the 28th Regiment at Quatre Bras. It depicts the 28th North Gloucestershire Regiment of Foot in square formation holding back against the French cavalry of Marshal Ney. I will most definitely make a video of this painting in the future, but it shows the sheer terror and the brutalness of Napoleonic warfare, and beautifully captured in this 19th century painting. This painting was roughly 6 years before Scotland Forever, but you can see where she gained a lot of inspiration across her paintings. 17th of June. This day would alter the course of European history and would mark a pivotal point in the Waterloo campaign. Wellington's army has held the line at Quatre Bras. but upon waking has heard the news of the Prussian defeat at Ligny. Realizing the peril of the situation, with now his left flank exposed, he retreats towards Brussels. Napoleon has made a fatal mistake. Instead of pursuing the British forces, he woke late and toured the previous day's battlefields. This has allowed Wellington to gain valuable time to escape the French forces. But in late afternoon, just as the French cavalry catches up to Wellington's rearguard, a biblical storm descends over Belgium.
Ah, dirty night. Hard morrow.
The rainfall is so intense, it instantly turns roads to rivers and fields into swamps. The blinding rain slows Napoleon's pursuit to a crawl. Wellington's infantry manages to reach their chosen defensive positions safely, but they are completely drenched to the bone. Wellington's army set up at Waterloo. He sends a desperate message to the Prussian commander Blucher. If you can promise me even a single army corps, I will stand and fight tomorrow. Meanwhile, the French army slumps into the mud. A mile south, Napoleon is confident he has trapped the British forces, completely unaware that Blucher has just sent word back to Wellington, I shall come tomorrow, not with one corps, but with my whole army. The stage is set. As dawn breaks, the rain has stopped, and the bugles echo across the sodden and muddy battleground. Today, two great armies will decide the future of Europe. 18th of June, 1815. The Dawn of Waterloo. In this painting by Lady Butler, it shows the Scots Greys being awoken by bugles playing reveille on the morning of the battle. Many of these men will not see through the day. This painting shows the human factor in war in a dark and sombre way. It shows the men sleeping in the mud and the cold with the horses in the background. This painting is now on public display and you can view it at the National Army Museum in London. The Scots Greys, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel James Hamilton, were positioned on the reverse slope of the Mont St. Jean Ridge at the Allied centre left, just behind Lieutenant General Thomas Picton's infantry division, under Major General Sir William Ponsonby. After 3 hours of brutal fighting, Wellington's army was on the absolute brink of collapse. It was roughly 2 p.m, and Napoleon had just launched his first massive assault, a coordinate effort to break the Allied centre. A grand battery of nearly 80 cannons on the opposite ridge for over an hour bombarded the Allied centre left. Following the bombardment, 14 to 18,000 French infantry cross the muddy valley. As the Allied front line starts to collapse, Sir Thomas Picton's thin red line holds by a thread. Outnumbered, the British cavalry is called forward. At around 2 p.m, the Earl of Uxbridge ordered Britain's heavy cavalry to attack. This included the Union Brigade, which contained the Royal Scots Greys, riding their distinctive grey horses. While famous paintings, including Scotland Forever and the film Waterloo in 1970 depicts the Greys at a full gallop, due to the muddy ground and riding through the ranks of the Gordon Highlanders, meant the Greys actually hit the French lines at little more than a fast, heavy trot. The impact, though, the sheer mass of the heavy cavalry smashed completely through the French leading infantry columns. The surprise power and the weight thrown onto the French caused them to break. Heavy chaos ensued. This halted the French advance. In the melee, Sergeant Charles Ewart of the Scots Greys fought his way to the centre of the French 45th line. He captured their coveted Imperial Eagle standard, a legendary feat that has earned him national fame, and he's lived on in immortality. From the words of Sergeant Ewart, next, a foot soldier fired at me, and then charged me with his bayonet, which I had the good luck to parry, and then I cut him down through the head. With the Scots Greys overextended, they had lost cohesion and had become cut off from the main Allied force. Some attacked nearby gun batteries of the Grand Battery, although the Greys had neither the time nor the means to disable the cannon or carry them off. They put very many out of action, as the gun crews were either killed or had fled the battlefield. Sergeant Major Dickinson of the Greys stated that his regiment was rallied before going on to attack the French artillery. Hamilton, the regiment commander, rather than holding them back, cried out to his men, "Charge! Charge the guns!" Napoleon responded by ordering a counter-attack by the cuirassiers and lancers. Disorganised and milling about at the bottom of the valley, the Scots Greys and the rest of the British heavy cavalry were taken by surprise by the countercharge of Frenchmen. Meanwhile, Ponsonby tried to rally his men against the French cuirassiers. He was attacked by lancers and captured. A nearby party of Scotch Greys saw the capture and attempted to rescue their brigade commander. The French lancer, who had captured Ponsonby, killed him and then used his lance to kill 3 of the Scots Greys who had attempted the rescue. While showing a moment of heroism, of glory, this painting also shows the somberness of it. It's the fact that within an hour of this moment, most of these men would be dead. Most of them would be wounded, while they achieved initial success in breaking the French lines. Most of them were cut off and hunted down by the cuirassiers and hussars. But looking through the details, and I would highly recommend you bring up a high resolution copy of this painting and look through yourselves. But to point out some for you now is obviously you've got the officer at the centre front of the painting. He's got his sword in hand, he's gripping his reins as he gallops forward, but you can see with his facial expressions he's shouting, he's rousing his men, he's cheering them on. And Lady Butler has captured this in the painting. Now, if you look to right of him in the centre, you can see that there's a bugler. He's got his bugle in his right hand, but he appears to be shot or killed. The colour of his face it's a grey, it's a pale colour, and he's falling back against his saddle. And it just shows in there, just with the colour, the texture, the patterns that she's covered in this, where you can see there's horses with blood in their mouth on the centre right, just 2 horses past the dying bugler. And at the same time, every man has a different facial expression. There's on to the left side with the darker horse. It looks like he's gritting his teeth as he charges forward. He's lowered down in position. There's other men with sabres raised charging forward. You can see off to the left side, there's a man falling back against his horse with sabre in the air as he's pulling the reins of the horse back. And the dust, the mud being kicked up from this charge, covering and smearing the background of all the cavalrymen following up from behind. At the same time, there's other little details of the battle. You've got obviously the shot in the air, the smoke, but you can see on the left and right side is members of the Gordon Highlanders. Now, the Scots Greys rode through their ranks. They'd been in fierce line battles with the French infantry, and it's just amazing. Now, if you were to go up to Leeds to see this painting, you'll be amazed by the size. It's over 2 meters wide. It's truly magnificent. Lady Elizabeth Butler, for me, is one of the most remarkable, and I would probably say one of the greatest British artists we've ever seen. With the era she lived in is absolutely fascinating. She was born 31 years after the Battle of Waterloo. She could have spoken to the soldiers and who fought there. She would have been able to get first-hand accounts. And growing up, she would have been able to speak to soldiers from the Crimea War, soldiers from the Anglo-Afghan War, going on to the Zulu Wars, the Battle of Rorke's Drift, which she covered with her painting The Defence of Rorke's Drift, to go on to World War One, where she covered all of the Industrial Revolution and kind of the military aspect of the Industrial Revolution in her art. And this is also at a time of when her first recognised painting came out is there had already been combat photography taken, such as photos taken at Sunken Lane at the Battle of Antietam, which depicts the Confederate soldiers dead against the side of the road. And her paintings came after this, and they continued for a long time as well. But it's the details that you can look into, and you can look into her paintings, such as the faces, what we covered with Scotland Forever, where each soldier has a different face, has a different emotion, tells a different story, and it's truly remarkable. While some of her paintings are glorious, heroic stands, such as the defence of Rorke's Drift, such as the 28th Regiment at Quatre Bras, there's horrible somber tones as well, such as the remnants of the army showing the last soldier at Jalalabad. I believe it's depicting William Bryden. But it shows this, but at the same time, it shows humanity. It shows men doing simple tasks. It shows men at the dawn of Waterloo waking up before battle, getting ready to go do their duty, to hope to survive. And it really speaks for me. Now, her paintings are scattered all over the world. Unfortunately, there's a lot in private collections, but you can go view quite a lot of them. Like I said, Scotland Forever is in Leeds Art Gallery. Quatre Bras is in Victoria, in Australia, in Melbourne. But you've got them everywhere, and go see them, go view them. They are truly remarkable. This video was on the painting Scotland Forever by Lady Butler. Thank you very much for watching if you managed to get all the way through. Now, this is the first video I've actually made on YouTube. I've ran the subreddit on Reddit Battle Paintings for about 14 years now, and while I've made scripts in the background, I've never really kicked my arse out of gear to make a video. I've quite enjoyed the process, and I hope people have enjoyed it as well. This may be a hobby of mine. Maybe I carry on doing it. I don't know. But I'm already working on a few other videos that I will be releasing in due course. So thank you very much.